When I draw an arm, I can only draw a straight arm. I think there are many people who have such troubles. In this video, I will explain how to draw a more realistic arm without straightening the arm. First, think of the arm parts in circles instead of drawing the arm suddenly. The more muscular the arm, the more rounded the circles are. It's common for beginners to start drawing in detail without thinking about the whole thing. As a result, it is very possible that the illustration will be out of balance. To prevent this from happening, let's start with a rough sketch at the drafting stage. The best practice when you draw arm and body part is to think about the structure of the muscles. At first, I tried to memorize the name of the muscle structure, but I lost motivation. Perhaps most people find it awkward to think about and remember the structure of muscles. So I recommend that you first take a rough shape like me and then draw the details. I drew both straight and bent arms. The point at this time is that the wrist and the arm joints and the bent elbows are slightly popped out. Also, pay attention to the balance of the hand. If you want to know more about how to draw hands, I made the video before, so please refer to that video as well. On the left side, I draw how to draw a girl's arm. Girls' arms, unlike boys' arms, look better if they don't overemphasize their muscles. That doesn't mean that you draw the arm straight. Draw small circles on the bend of the shoulder and elbow. Draw an arm to connect to those circles. I drew slightly curved arrows in red. Can you see that they are not straight? Actually, as a bad example, I also drew a straight arm. If you can't draw arms well, you may be drawing an illustration like this straightened arm. In this way, you can make a difference in the illustration just by thinking about the joint in circles. In the following illustration, I will explain the connection between the arms and body of men and women. The illustration of a man is a pose with his hands raised, and the woman is a pose with her arms folded above her head. First of all, I will explain the pose of the male arm. Draw a straight line between the wrist to draw the arms evenly. This will reduce the chances of drawing a misaligned arm. I will draw the outline of the arm and the body parts. Try to make the elbows and beyond thinner than the upper arms. Next, I will explain the poses of female arms. For women, tilting hips to the left or right make for a beautiful pose. Also, unlike men, avoid drawing too much muscle. When drawing line art, the male muscles are drawn in more detail. By adding shadows to the muscles, it looks more three-dimensional. Also, since the arms are raised, it is one of the tricks to draw the ribs slightly. If you give the side of the body a little bulge, it will become a more natural muscular male body. On the other hand, for women, do not draw too much shadow on the muscles. I struggled with the position where her chest was drawn, but I was able to draw the female body relatively easily, because women draw fewer lines than men. If you draw the collarbone and shoulder lines so that they connect well, you can draw a more natural body of a woman with her arms raised. From here, I will draw various arm poses. First of all, I will draw a rough outline of the arm and part of the body. You can use the lasso tool to adjust the size. Therefore, if the illustration is unbalanced or the illustration itself is drawn too large, it will be adjusted without erasing everything. Perhaps most digital tools have a lasso tool feature, so give it a try. At the draft stage, it is not necessary to draw in detail. So I think it will be important how quickly you can draw a well-balanced illustration. Especially when you draw poses, try to balance by looking at the pictures and illustrations of the poses you are referring to. Now, from here, I will draw a line art. The point of the first illustration is to draw the hand large. Then, the length of the lower elbow and the upper arm is drawn with a ratio of 3:1. If you give a little perspective like this, the reality of the illustration will increase. The point of the second illustration is to draw the muscles of the back. Doing so will help balance the back and chest muscles. Also, if you draw the shadow of the muscles on the side, it will look more three-dimensional. The point of the third illustration is to draw the elbow so that it looks larger than the shoulder. Also, if you draw the bulging position of the arm on the left and right so that it is slightly offset, it will look more natural. As for the hand, it looks more natural if you lift the index finger a little and gradually increase the length from the little finger to the middle finger. The point of the fourth illustration is a bulge above and below the arm. Also, one of the points is to draw the connection between the shoulder and the upper arm like a U shape. Please draw the position of the fingers in a circular motion, and don't forget to draw the holes on the inside of the thumb. Thank you for watching this video. If this video is interesting, please push a like button. Also, if you ask questions in the comment section, it will be answered as soon as possible. Depending on the content, I may post new videos for answering your doubts and comments. So please subscribe to Animembo and set notifications for this. There are many people who watch the videos and don't register. So I will be very happy if you help me to grow. See you again in the next video.